Hello Heresy fans, and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our first Warhammer the Horus Heresy 3rd edition battle report. It's 3,000 points as the Sons of Horus take on the Imperial Fists. For more 30k videos like battle reports, army showcases, tactics and rules discussions, please check out all the other Horus Heresy videos on the channel. And while you're there, please spare a couple of seconds for a cheeky little click on like and subscribe. Today, as the forces of the Warmaster commence their long march to terror, countless Imperial systems are being savagely brought under the banner of the Eye. Most of these worlds are garrisoned by the men of the Imperial army. They quickly swear allegiance to the true master of mankind, Horus Lupercal, or else are savagely crushed. But upon occasion, the Warmaster's forces encounter a world garrisoned not by the mortals of the Imperial army, but by their former brothers of the Legiones Astartes, unyielding in their loyalty to the Emperor. In such cases, annihilation must be swift and brutal, and no son of Horus pursues this task with as much viciousness as their infamous First Captain. But when the world is garrisoned by the stone men of the 7th Legion, a high price must be paid in blood. The battle today is 3,000 points. It is taken hold with hammer and anvil deployment. And before we get started, let's take a look at the armies. "3,000 points of the Sons of Horus, and today their Crusade primary detachment has in its high command slot First Captain Abbadon. Now he is a 250 point beat stick. He has a higher weapon skill than a normal Praetor, more attacks than a normal Praetor. He has Eternal Warrior. He can deep strike with just styring and give them feel no pain when he does it. He is very, very tough. And he's brought 2 officers with him today. We have in a prime slot a Legion champion in Cataphractii Terminator armor, Paragon Blade, Volkite Charger, and Paragon of Battle. So he has weapon skill 7 as well as Abbadon. And then in the second slot, we have got a Legion Centurion. He has got a Thunderhammer, and he is carrying a Vexilla. We have 1 troops choice in the primary detachment. It's a Legion tactical squad, just bare bones today. They are just there to try to score victory points and hopefully not get shot. But because they're in a prime slot, they have bought a logistical benefit. It is a Leviathan Siege Dreadnought with twin storm cannon and Volkite calibers as well for some close range, very heavy fire support. And rounding out that detachment, we've got 2 Rhinos with dozer blades. Now today, First Captain Abbadon has not bought an Apex detachment. He has brought along the Sons of Horus unique detachment. It's a Supremacy Cadre. And in its prime slot, we've got another bare bones tactical squad, again, just to score those points. And then here come the heavy hitters. We've got a squad of 6 just styring, 4 Thunderhammers, there's a Chain Fist in there, and a Combi Melter, and also a Multi-Melter. They're going to be deep striking with the First Captain, hopefully not taking too long to arrive because they are a lot of points. And then behind them, we have some Reavers. Most of them have chain axes, but there are 4 Power Fists in there, and also their Chieftain has a Power Fist as well as a Plasma Pistol. Because this tactical squad are in a prime slot, there's a logistical benefit. It is a Spartan. Now we've got the Legion Champion and the Centurion. The Legion Champion has brought along a single detachment. It's a single heavy support detachment comprising 1 war engine. It is a Leviathan Dreadnought with 2 Leviathan Siege Claws with inbuilt melter guns. Now because this chap is a son of Horus, he should be able to volleyfy his melter guns at full ballistic skill. Looking forward to seeing if that is an effective strategy. And the Centurion has brought along 2 detachments as well. We've got a tactical support detachment consisting of 2 Rapier batteries. We've got 1 just on its own with a laser destroyer, and 1 battery of 2 Rapier carriages, both with laser destroyers. They are providing some much needed anti-armor fire support. And finally, for his second detachment, the Centurion has brought along a shock assault detachment. It is a single slot filled with a squad of cataphractii terminators. There's 9 of them. They have thunderhammers, power fists, chain fists, all sorts. Another very dangerous squad. This is a very close range, aggressive style army, right in the manner of the Sons of Horus, how they like to fight. Now, let's see what the Imperial Fists have brought along. And here we have 3,000 points of Imperial Fists, commanded today by Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
Right, what have we got? I've read through this list, but I think Steph's going to have to help me at some points, but let's see what we can do. So, leading the army, we have got an Imperial Fists Praetor. He has got a Paragon Blade and a Combi Melter.
Combi Plasma.
Oh, yep, no, you're quite right, yep. He does have a Combi Plasma, and kudos to you for giving him a Combi Plasma instead of a Melter. WYSIWYG, because Combi Plasmas are rubbish in 3rd edition, in fact. Right, so he is a high command choice in a Crusade primary detachment, and he's got 3 command choices with him. We have, in a prime slot, a Legion Herald in Cataphractii Terminator armor. He has got a Solarite Power Gauntlet, and he's also a Paragon of Battle because he's in a prime slot. We've got a Chaplain. He has got a Plasma Pistol and a Crozius, and we have a Librarian with a Force Stave, and he has got Divination. And I think I saw somewhere over there in the distance a squad of Imperial Fists with Las Cannon. So I wonder if perhaps there's going to be some nasty precision shot shenanigans going on. That is as nasty to face as it is to say. Right, the Praetor is commanding some tactical squads today. In his primary detachment, we have got a Legion Tactical Squad. They're in a prime slot. They have got a Vexilla, a Nuncio Vox, and the Sergeant has a Power Fist. And because they're in a prime slot, they are combat veterans. And then in another troop slot, we've got another tactical squad. They've got a Vexilla and a Nuncio Vox. Their Sergeant has a Power Sword, and they've also brought along 2 Rhinos. And because we've got a Praetor, he has brought along an Apex detachment. It is Combat Retinue. We have got 1 slot filled. It's a prime slot with some Imperial Fist Huskarls. They are incredibly nasty. Weapon skill 5, 3 attack Terminators. They've all got Solarite Power Gauntlets. And because they're in a prime slot, their Master has been upgraded to a Master Sergeant, which gives him weapon skill
6.
Yep.
With 4 attacks.
With 4 attacks. So basically he is another Centurion. And of course he's in Cataphractii armor. He's got Eternal Warrior as well. So he sounds very, very nasty. The first auxiliary detachment is the Imperial Fists unique one. You have to remind me what that's called.
Siege Gauntlet.
Yep, the Siege Gauntlet. And we have got a squad of Breachers. We have also got a squad of Phalanx Warders. They have Power Axes and a Vexilla. And their Sergeant has a Thunderhammer. And then, in a support slot, we have 10 Imperial Fists with autocannon. And behind them, in another support slot.
Breaches are in the prime slot.
I see, right, so prime benefit, that's a logistical benefit. We have 10 Imperial Fists with las cannon. That looks like quite some fire base to be facing today. All right, and it looks like we've got 2 more detachments. The first is armoured support. We've got 2 Vindicators. They both have dozer blades. And then finally, an armoured fist detachment. We've got 2 Land Raider carriers. So this army is looking very, very nasty to me. You happy with it?
Very happy.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I am not looking forward to seeing what kind of firepower comes out of these guys, to be honest, and there's a lot of combat power as well. Right, there are the Imperial Fists. Let's move on to the battle. And the armies are deployed. Now this mission is take and hold, and we have 2 objectives on the battlefield. The first is these 3 red crates close to the Fists, and the other are these ammunition crates close to the Sons of Horus. The Sons of Horus deployed first, so unless the Fists can seize the initiative, they will take the first turn. And they have deployed on their left flank with a Rhino containing the Reavers and the Centurion with Vexilla and Thunderhammer. Next to them we have the Leviathan Siege Dreadnought with his twin claws. Then we've got a battery of 2 Rapiers with laser destroyers. They've got a good line of fire over to the centre of the table and both objectives. Right in the centre of the Sons of Horus line, we've got their Spartan containing their big squad of Terminators led by the Legion Champion in Terminator armour. And then we have got a Rhino containing a tactical squad, no doubt wanting to rush forwards to try to take the Imperial Fists objective, or at least the one that is very, very close to them. Next to them we've got a tactical squad. They're ready to hold the Sons of Horus objective right in front of them, and then next to them to their right we have got a Rapier laser destroyer. Finally, over on their far right flank we've got the Leviathan with twin storm cannon, and of course we have First Captain Abbadon and his Justirin. They are waiting on board the Vengeful Spirit. They are going to teleport into action. Hopefully it won't take them too long to arrive, because they are a lot of points. And then the Imperial Fist deployed, and because it's hammer and anvil today, their deployment zone is a bit congested with all their tanks, but it certainly is an impressive wall of armour. Starting over on their right flank, we've got the Rhino containing the Breachers and the Chaplain. Next to that we've got a Vindicator. Then we've got another Rhino containing one of the tactical squads, and in the centre we've got a Land Raider. That's got the Phalanx Warders in it, led by the Praetor. Moving over around the Munitorum armoured containers, we've got a tactical squad ready to move forward and seize that objective, which is the Red Barrels. And next to them we've got another Land Raider that contains the Huskarls and the Herald. They've got a Vindicator in support, and then perhaps the scariest part from my perspective of the Imperial Fist army, we've got this fire base in this building. We've got 10 Imperial Fists with autocannons, we've got 10 Imperial Fists with las cannons, and we've got that Divination Librarian there, and he is going to be able to give them precision shot, which is a bit worrying. So, the Imperial Fists are ready. The Sons of Horus do have the first turn. Let's see if the Fists can seize the initiative. And with the roll of a 1, the Imperial Fists have failed to seize initiative, so we will be going into Sons of Horus turn 1. But before we do, it's just worth saying there are secondary objectives available in this mission as well. There are 2 victory points to slay the Warlord, 2 victory points for first strike, and 4 victory points for last man standing. There's also Giant Killer, but that won't be relevant in this mission today. We have no Lords of War or Warlords. Both objectives in the middle are worth 3 victory points, but each time you score them, they go down in value by 1 victory point. So, with all that out the way, let's get started. End of Sons of Horus movement phase turn 1, and there's a lot going on already. Over on this flank, the Rhino containing the Reavers has motored forward, and the Leviathan has lumbered forward as well. The Rapiers have held position. Over at the objective, the other tactical squad have moved forward. They want to be in complete control of that objective because they know they're going to take some fire. That Leviathan with the storm cannon moved forward but couldn't bring its storm cannon into range, unfortunately, and of course the other Rapier has held position. The Sons of Horus Rapiers have got plenty of targets. But it's in the centre that the Sons of Horus have shown their characteristic aggression. The Spartan has rumbled forwards. It's preparing to give fire, probably at the Imperial Fists with autocannons, because it cannot be hurt by their return fire, and we really need to thin those guys out. I've seen what they can do. But then the action really hotted up as the Sons of Horus Tactical Squad came motoring up in their Rhino. They disembarked and rushed forward to try and steal the objective from under the nose of the Imperial Fists. Now, there was some debate as to whether the Imperial Fists should use their advance reaction, Bastion of Fire, but it's only with bolters with this tactical squad, so unlikely to kill all the Sons of Horus. Instead, the Imperial Fists use a reposition reaction. They have spilled forward towards the objective. Now the Sons of Horus are not actually controlling that, but unfortunately for the Fists, the Sons of Horus are going to get to fire now, and because they've rushed forward onto the objective, the Leviathan storm cannons actually now are in range of them. So it's going to be very interesting to see what goes on in the Sons of Horus first shooting phase. And their first shooting phase has opened very well for the Sons of Horus as the Leviathan opens fire with its storm cannon and its Volkites. It has managed to cut down 5 of the Imperial Fists already. it looks like the Sons of Horus might be able to steal this objective right in front of their lines. Sensing their opportunity, the Sons of Horus Rhino fired its bolters on the Imperial Fist tactical squad but did nothing, but 2 more of the Imperial Fists were cut down from long-range fire from the Sons of Horus Rapiers, and that means that the Sons of Horus have done enough. They will be able to claim that objective. The Sons of Horus Spartan enacted its plan of targeting the Imperial Fist with autocannons in the building, managed to blast 2 to pieces with its quad las cannon, but its heavy bolter did no more damage. It could not penetrate the Fist's power armor. Still 2 of them down. That's good news. And finally, the Sons of Horus Rapier over on the far side of the battlefield managed to hit the front of the Imperial Fist Land Raider with a shot, but it bounced harmlessly off. The Imperial Fist tactical squad, they had to take a panic check. They passed it, but it doesn't really matter. The Sons of Horus have managed to steal this objective, so they're going to get 3 victory points for that, plus 2 for line. That's 5. And of course, the objective over here is held by the Sons of Horus as well, so that's going to be another 5 as well, plus both objectives will go down in value by a single victory point. Unfortunately, the Sons of Horus did not manage to get first strike, but all in all, that has been a decent first turn in terms of victory points. Let's see how the Imperial Fists respond. End of Imperial Fist movement phase turn 1, and the 7th Legion are not happy at the effrontery of the Sons of Horus, but they have developed a plan to deal with it. First, on this side, the Rhino with the breaches has pulled back a little bit. It looks like it's not very happy. It's going to have to try to deal with a Leviathan Dreadnought and a Rhino containing Reavers. I think the Reavers are probably a lot stronger than the breaches, so we'll see. But the Vindicator might well be the answer. It's not moved, it's just pivoted, and hopefully will annihilate the Reavers Rhino with a Demolisher Cannon shot. Meanwhile, this tactical squad have disembarked from their Rhino. The Fists want to see if they can kill all of these Sons of Horus with a hail of bolter fire, because they want to concentrate a lot of their heavier weaponry on the Spartans. So the 2 Land Raiders in the centre have not moved, they've just pivoted. They're going to bring all their las cannons to bear. The Vindicator has not moved, it has just pivoted. It is only just in range of the front of the Spartan, but that's enough to send a Demolisher Cannon shell its way. And of course, in the building, we've got a lot of las cannons and a lot of auto cannons. So what the Fists want to do is destroy this arrogant tactical squad and then unleash a hail of fire to destroy the rest of the attack in the centre. The 1st Imperial Fist tactical squad opened fire on the Sons of Horus with their bolters, managing to cut down 3 of them, and then the 3 remaining Imperial Fist tactical marines in the centre managed to fell another 1, but it's not enough. Are the Imperial Fists going to have to unleash the fury of their autocannon squad upon them? Let's see. Yes, the Imperial Fists with autocannon did open fire, the remaining 8 of them, on the Sons of Horus tactical squad, and yes, they did annihilate them completely. That is first strike for the Imperial Fists, which is good news, 2 victory points, and of course, the Fists are going to score that objective. The Imperial Fists with las cannons in the building targeted the Spartan. They got plenty of hits, but only 1 pen, unfortunately for them, so they've only done 2 damage, and the Spartan returned fire, and in return shot down 2 of the Imperial Fists. So not a great result, but there's plenty more firepower here from the Imperial Fist vehicles to throw into the Spartan. And the Vindicator shows how it is done straight away by smashing a siege shell straight into the front of the Spartan. Bang, penetrating hit, 6 damage. The Imperial Fist Land Raider managed to get 2 hits on the Spartan with its twin las cannon, but with a double 4, both bounced harmlessly off. We have got 1 more Land Raider. Can it get the job done? And once again, the Imperial Fists are getting the job done. This Land Raider opened up on the Spartan, managed to get 2 hits, 1 was a 6, and that was enough to destroy the Spartan, and the explodes roll was a 6 as well. So the Spartan has been blown sky high. All the Terminators have had to make an emergency disembarkation thanks to their Cataphracti Terminator armor. None of them were hurt in the explosion, and they have passed their cool check. But that is a great result for the Fists. There is 1 more thing to do in their shooting phase. Let's see if this Vindicator can have some success against the Reavers Rhino. And the short answer is no. This Vindicator managed to miss the Sons of Horus Rhino and actually scattered off the table. So a disappointing end to an otherwise very good first turn for the Imperial Fists. They managed to get first strike, which is 2 victory points. They managed to score this objective, which is now worth 2, but they've got a line unit on it, so effectively it's worth 4, and that makes a score at the end of turn 1, 10 points to the Sons of Horus and 6 to the Imperial Fists. But the Imperial Fists have managed to destroy the Sons of Horus Spartan, which is always going to be a pretty nasty blow. But it's not all good news for the Imperial Fists, because now we get to roll to see if that happy chap Abbadon and his Justiron turn up. Start off Sons of Horus movement phase, turn 2, and it is with great relief and with a bang and a flash that Abbadon and the Justiron have teleported in. Now, we've got Imperial Fists with las cannons in this building, so they're more than likely going to have to eat some interceptor, but not all the Imperial Fists can see him. Plus, he gives all his Justiron a 5-up feel no pain as well. So hopefully the damage won't be too bad, and he's in a great position to start smashing his way into the back of the Imperial Fist lines. There's a Vindicator there, and his Justiron have a multi-melter and a combi melter. Or should they just hose the Imperial Fist with fire? Well, let's see if any of them survive interceptor first. And the Sons of Horus breathe a sigh of relief as the Imperial Fists raise their las cannons. They manage 3 hits and 2 wounds on Abbadon and the Justiron. One was saved by an invulnerable save, and the other by Abbadon's special feel no pain rule. So, no damage done. That is extremely good news, for Abbadon at least. End of Sons of Horus movement phase, turn 2, and the Rapiers have held position. They're happy where they are. So are the tactical squad, and so is the other Rapier over on the right flank. The Rhino has moved just to give some line of sight blocking to that tactical squad on the objective, but it can't quite block all of them from the Imperial Fists. Meanwhile, the Leviathan Dreadnought stomps forward, and doubtless encouraged by the sound of their newly arrived First Captain bellowing over the Vox, the rest of the Sons of Horus are surging forwards. In the centre, the Legion Champion is leading the Cataphracti towards the remnants of this Imperial Fist tactical squad on this objective. They've got Vanguard, so they're hoping to score some points there. Meanwhile, this Leviathan is crushing his way through this building on his way to this Imperial Fist tactical squad. And over on the left flank, the Centurion has emerged with the Reavers from the Rhino. They are danger close now. There's going to be some assaults, no doubt. And of course, with the arrival of Abbadon and the Justiron, that gives the Imperial Fists all sort of problems in their back line as well. This is looking like it's going to be brutal. The Sons of Horus second shooting phase opened poorly, as it seems the Rapiers, despite getting plenty of hits, just cannot penetrate the front of either of the Imperial Fists Land Raiders. So the Sons of Horus Leviathan open fire with its Storm Cannon and its Volkites on the Imperial Fists with auto cannons. Managed to shoot down 3 of them, which wasn't too bad a result, but the Imperial Fists return fire. And I'll just show you over here. Those 6s are the hits they got that were breaching at damage 2. And those 6 white dice there are the Leviathan's invulnerable saves. So I'm just going to pop over to that side of the table and remove him. Well, this Sons of Horus Leviathan did a lot better than his colleague, since at least he managed to survive his own round of shooting. He opened fire with his melter guns and his Volkites and managed to kill 3 of this Imperial Fist tactical squad, and another 3 were shot down by combi bolter fire from the Sons of Horus Terminators in the centre as they prepare to charge onto that objective. Over here, there's not much point the Reavers opening fire on the Vindicator or the Rhino with their bolt pistols, so they're just going to prepare to charge. So that means we've only got 1 more piece of firing to do. It's Abbadon and his Justiron. And the Justiron show why they are the elite of the Sons of Horus. They managed to completely melt 1 of the Imperial Fists with las cannons with their multi-melter. The combi melter hit and wounded, but the Fist made his cover save. But it was the Bane Strike combi bolters that did the damage, mowing down another 5 of the Imperial Fists. with some appalling saving throws, it must be said. But that is another very good result. We are just going to quickly do the panic checks for a couple of the Imperial Fist units, then move on to the assault phase. End of Sons of Horus assault phase, turn 2, and the Cataphractii, the Legion champion, they stomp forward with their setup move and open fire. They're Sons of Horus, so they make volley attacks at their full ballistic skill with their combi bolters, easily enough to destroy the last 3 Imperial Fists on that objective. So they're going to score 3 points for Vanguard, and another point because they're actually holding that objective themselves now as well. And this Sons of Horus Leviathan also made use of his right of war. He made his setup move to charge this tactical squad and fired his melter guns using implacable advance at full ballistic skill and melted another 2 Imperial Fists, but he could not make his charge. And then over on this flank, the Reavers all piled in with their power fists into the Imperial Fist Vindicator, easily wrecking it. And it doesn't have the explode rule, and we have just realised too that Spartans do not have the explode rule either, so the Spartan in the middle shouldn't have exploded, but it doesn't matter, it didn't do anything to the Terminators anyway. And that's the end of the Sons of Horus second turn. It's going quite well for them. They're going to score 3 points for Vanguard and a point for that objective, and they're going to score 2 points for that objective and another 2 because the tactical squad holding it have line. That's another 8 points, taking the Sons of Horus to 18 victory points. It's looking a bit grim for the Imperial Fists actually, but it's worth bearing in mind these 2 Land Raiders have got all of their elite assault troops in them. I think it's about time they made an appearance. Start of Imperial Fist turn 2, and the Fists have a bit of a problem actually. The Sons of Horus have racked up a lot of victory points, and this objective is now worth 0. Also, the squads inside these Land Raiders, both the Husskulls in one and the Phalanx Warders in the other, they don't have Vanguard, so even if they charge and destroy all the Sons of Horus Terminators, they're not going to get any victory points for it. Plus the Sons of Horus, of course, they can score this objective once more with a line unit. This is giving the Imperial Fist Praetor, aka Stephanie, a bit of a headache at the minute. Not to mention Abbadon back there is another problem, and the Reavers on the far side. I'm not sure what to do. Let's see. A plan has been formulated by the Imperial Fists as they all come pouring out of their vehicles. Over on this flank, the Breachers, led by the Chaplain, have disembarked from their Rhino, which has pulled back again. They are just going to desperately try to hold back the Reavers with as much bolter fire as possible. They're going to be aided by another Rhino, and these 2 remaining Tactical Marines, they have not moved. We've just spun them around to show that they're looking over here. Meanwhile, the Praetor has led the Phalanx Warders forward out of this Land Raider. The Land Raider has not moved, it's going to be offering supporting fire. The Imperial Fists, they just want this unit to be destroyed. They particularly want it to be destroyed in combat because the Herald will allow them to score victory points for doing that. He has come out of the Land Raider with his Husskulls. They're getting ready to charge along with the Phalanx Warders. Meanwhile, their Land Raider has dropped them off and set off up the table towards the Sons of Horus objective. It's going to give fire on the tactical squad to try to destroy them or drive them back, and it's going to be aided in that by the Imperial Fist with auto cannons and maybe even the last 2 las cannon Marines. There's not much the Imperial Fist realistically can do against Abbadon, but this Vindicator has spun round and is going to try a close range demolisher into his face to see if that can slow down the Justirian. This is going to be a very bloody turn by the looks of things. Let's see how the Imperial Fists get on with their shooting. So, an interesting start to the Imperial Fist second shooting phase. The Land Raider opened fire on the tactical squad, killing 2 of them, and then the Imperial Fist with auto cannons opened fire as well. Now the Librarian is still lurking in that building with them, and he passed his psychic power check to give them precision shot. That meant they cut down another 5 of them, crucially including the Sergeant. They're now going to have to take a panic check without the benefit of his leadership, so that will determine if they continue to hold that objective or if they decide to fall back. The Vindicator unleashed its demolisher cannon straight into the face of the nearest Justirian, managed to get 2 wounds. Neither one were breaching, but one of the Justirian rolled a 1, so he was blown to bits. That is very satisfying for the Fists. In the centre, this Imperial Fist Land Raider managed to blast apart one Sons of Horus Terminator with one of his twin las cannon, and the two remaining Imperial Fists with las cannons in the building managed to blow apart another one, but all of the pistol fire and the heavy bolters did nothing against the cataphracti armour. Over on this flank, the Imperial Fist demonstrated exactly how dangerous their massed bolter fire can be. As the breachers opened fire, they managed to cut down 3 of the Reavers with their bolters, and fire from the Rhinos and the 2 remaining tactical marines behind those containers managed to take out another one. That was very, very surprising and very devastating, but the Reavers have passed their panic check. Unlike the tactical squad over on the objective, they have failed with a roll of a 10. They are now routed, and that means the Imperial Fists have achieved one of their objectives this turn in preventing the Sons of Horus from scoring that objective with that tactical squad again. And of course, their other objective this turn is to annihilate these Sons of Horus Terminators and the Legion Champion. This is going to be a massive brawl. And into the assault phase we go. Now the Phalanx Warders managed to make contact with their setup move, so there was no overwatch, which is probably in favour of the Imperial Fists, and both the Phalanx Warders and the Huskarls have made their charge. Now the Imperial Fists are lagging behind a little bit in victory points, which is what Stephanie is using to justify this decision, but the Legion Herald has issued a challenge, and of course the Sons of Horus have a Legion Champion. They're both paragons of battle. I think the advantage is probably with the Son of Horus, but you never know. Let's see what happens. The Son of Horus, aware that the Imperial Fists can use the Wall Unyielding Gambit, decided to go with Finishing Blow, so that any criticals that he got would be 3 damage and therefore still do 2 damage to the Imperial Fist Herald. But that turned out not to work out very well, because even though he was far faster, he won the focus roll by miles. He managed to get 2 wounding hits and 1 critical, but one of the normal hits and the critical were both saved by the 4-up invulnerable of the Imperial Fist Herald. And thanks to a Wall Unyielding, which he did end up using, he has only been wounded once. Let's see what he does back to the Son of Horus with his Solarite Gauntlet. And despite only managing to land a single blow on the Son of Horus, it was a wound and it went through his invulnerable save. So the Imperial Fist Herald has done 2 wounds to the Son of Horus and only received 1 in return. I have a feeling this is going to be to the death. So let's choose some more gambits. Now that he has wrested advantage in this challenge away from the Son of Horus, the Imperial Fist has decided to use Finishing Blow, and in a bit of a panic, the Son of Horus has decided just to go with Flurry of Blows. So this is not going the way I expected it. Let's see who wins the focus roll. Okay, the Son of Horus rolled a 1. And the Imperial Fist Herald rolled a 5 and a 6, so he has to pick the 5. He is going first, and I have a sick feeling in my stomach that he is about to pummel the Son of Horus Legion Champion to death. Well, the Imperial Fist Herald only managed to get 2 hits with his Solarite Gauntlet, but both wounded. Obviously they'll be damaged 3 with Finishing Blow, and here are the Legion Champion's saves. So, yeah, that means it's time to take him away. That is a victory point for the Imperial Fists in a truly glorious and heroic fashion. Striking with the highest initiative, the Imperial Fist Praetor with his Paragon Blade managed to take out 1 Son of Horus Terminator, and then it was the power axes of the Phalanx Warders. All their attacks managed to hack down another. Now we are on to the Thunderhammer step. The 3 Sons of Horus Terminators with Thunderhammers managed to fell 3 of the Imperial Fist's Phalanx Warders, and in return, the Phalanx Warder Sergeant managed to smash 1 Son of Horus with his own Thunderhammer. Now we're moving on to Initiative 1. Well, the Huskarls absolutely pulverised the last three Sons of Horus, but not before they could batter another two Huskarls to death with their power fists. Still, the Sons of Horus are wiped out and the Imperial Fists have consolidated. Now, the Herald, he won the challenge, so he gets a point for that, and because the Imperial Fists won the combat, there's another point. But the Imperial Fists only score those points if the Herald stays alive for the rest of the game. Unfortunately for the Fists, those are the only points they managed to score that turn, and it looks like it's going to be very hard for them to catch up. But let's see as we go into Sons of Horus turn 3. End of Sons of Horus movement phase, turn 3, and Abbadon is displeased. He is displeased that the Imperial Fists have torn the centre of his army to pieces, and he is particularly displeased with these three tactical marines over here who have fallen back off the objective. That's cost the Sons of Horus 3 victory points. But the Sons of Horus are still in a good position. They still have all the rapiers now ready to open fire on the Imperial Fists in the centre, or maybe their vehicles. The Rhino has pulled back to add its fire as well and hopefully not get charged too quickly. This Rhino has done the same as the Leviathan goes stomping past, looking to hunt down some Imperial Fists, either their tactical marines or perhaps their vehicles. Meanwhile, the Centurion is leading the Reavers into a charge against the Breaches. They're close, so hopefully their setup move will take them in. No overwatch. And over here, Abbadon has sent the remaining Justiren to deal with the Vindicator. Meanwhile, bellowing in a rage, he has come crashing through into this building to hunt the Imperial Fist heavy weapon marines. Now, there is going to be a bastion of fire reaction somewhere here. Is it going to be the las cannons firing into Abbadon? Or, because he couldn't quite stay outside 10 inches, could it be the autocannons firing into Abbadon? Interesting, because they're damaged too. So as a stationary las cannon, Abbadon's got Eternal Warrior. So, is that worth it? Or is it better to try to save the Breaches using Bastion of Fire to launch another volley of bolters into the Reavers? I'm glad it's not my decision. Let's see what is decided. How could anyone resist an opportunity to take down the first captain of the Sons of Horus? So the Imperial Fists with autocannons opened fire using Bastion of Fire, but it was not a good volley, unfortunately. Despite hitting on 2s, only 8 hit. 6 wounded normally, and there were 2 breaches. Abbadon's Terminator armor saved all the normal wounds, and his invulnerable save saved 1 of the breaches. So 1 went through, 2 damage, reduced to 1 for Eternal Warrior. They have at least wounded him, but they have missed their golden opportunity to slay him. The Sons of Horus Rapiers opened the shooting, putting all of their fire into the Huskarls. Looks like they want to take out the Imperial Fist Herald and deny the Imperial Fist those victory points. They managed to blast apart 2 of them with their stationary damage of 4, making the Huskarls Eternal Warrior useless. And this Sons of Horus Rhino has made a handy little contribution, opening fire with its pintle-mounted bolters and managing to take out 1 of the Phalanx Warders. And the Sons of Horus highly effective shooting phase continues, as with a single shot from his multi-melter, this Justiren has destroyed the Imperial Fist's Vindicator. And the Sons of Horus success continues as this Leviathan managed to remove both remaining tactical marines with 2 shots from his melter guns, and he has left himself with a potential 6-inch charge on the Imperial Fist's Land Raider as well. And finally, the Reavers have decided not to fire with their pistols into the Imperial Fist breaches. It will only draw return fire, and with their setup move, they should be able to get in and deny them any volley attacks on Overwatch as well. Sons of Horus assault phase turn 3, and the Reavers, led by their Centurion, use a setup move to contact the Imperial Fist breaches, starting a combat here. And over in the building, First Captain Abbadon also managed just to lumber into the Imperial Fist with las cannons using his setup move. I don't think they're going to be around for very long. But some reprieve for the Imperial Fists at least, as this Leviathan failed his charge into the Imperial Fist Land Raider and his volley-firing melter guns. They didn't do any damage to it either. So, unsurprisingly enough, First Captain Abbadon laughed in the face of the feeble attacks of the two remaining Imperial Fists with las cannon. They pattered harmlessly off his armour and then he crushed them both with his Chthonian power claw. He has consolidated, but it is going to mean he's got to brave another volley of fire from the Imperial Fist with autocannon. Still, his blood is up and he cares not. Meanwhile, over on this side, the Son of Horus decided he didn't want to issue a challenge because he knows the Imperial Fist is only going to use the annoying wall unyielding gambit, but the Imperial Fist decided to use a heroic intervention. So a challenge is going to happen. Let's see how that pans out. So the Sons of Horus Centurion came up with a plan. He has decided to use the feint and riposte gambit, preventing the Imperial Fist chaplain from selecting wall unyielding. So he's hoping to fell him with his Thunderhammer, and he has won the focus roll because the chaplain decided to go for finishing blow instead. Unfortunately for the Imperial Fist, the heroics of their chaplain have backfired. The Son of Horus hefted his Thunderhammer and managed to get 3 hits and 3 wounds, and the Imperial Fist failed all of his saves, so he has been felled before he could even swing his Crozius at the Son of Horus. So the Sons of Horus Reavers all have either chain axes or power fists, so the Imperial Fists got to attack first. They managed to do a couple of wounds, but both were saved by the power armor. Now it is the Reavers' turn. Well, the Reavers with chain axes did not manage to do anything to the Imperial Fists, but then the Reavers with power fists attacked 4 normal Reavers, and their chieftain managed to kill 7 of the breaches, and the Imperial Fists were forced to fall back off of the battlefield. The Reavers have consolidated, and that brings Sons of Horus turn 3 to a close. Now they haven't actually managed to score any victory points this turn, so that is a slight reprieve for the Fists, but it's still looking like the battle is heavily in their favour. Let's see if the Imperial Fists can come up with a plan going into their third turn. And at the end of the third movement phase for the Imperial Fists, they have actually come up with a plan. It looks like this is turning into a breakthrough mission as the 2 rhinos motor forwards away from the Sons of Horus, and this Land Raider has moved round the container. The Herald and his 3 remaining Huskarls have mounted up, and they are preparing to break through the Sons of Horus back lines. They're going to give fire. Meanwhile, the Praetor and the remaining Phalanx Warders are advancing. Maybe they can charge at this rhino. And the second part of the new mission is, it's no longer taken hold, it is assassination. So, abandoning the autocannon Marines to their fate, they have been ordered to take out the first captain of the Sons of Horus if they can, and to aid them. This Land Raider has moved up, spun round, and will be preparing to fire. It doesn't really matter that it's moved and therefore its las cannons are only damage 1 now, because Abbadon, of course, has Eternal Warrior. He's going to have to weather a lot of firepower this turn. I think maybe I have been too reckless with him. Let us see as we go into the Imperial Fist shooting phase. And with a highly accurate volley of fire, the Imperial Fist Land Raider has managed to wound Abbadon twice more. Now, he already took a wound in a previous turn, so he has lost 3 now. He only has 2 remaining, and the Imperial Fists with autocannons are hefting their weapons and pointing them straight at him. And it's a sad day for the 7th Legion. The autocannon Marines managed to put 10 wounds on Abbadon, but only 1 was a breach, and it was saved by his 4+ invulnerable, and the 9 others, not a single one got through his 2+ cataphracti save. Another missed opportunity. That is very, very disappointing for the Imperial Fists. Well, let's see what else they can do in this shooting phase. As the Imperial Fists Land Raider rolled forward, it unleashed its las cannon on the Rapier Laser Destroyer. Its las cannon easily destroyed the Rapier itself, and its heavy bolter slaughtered the 2 remaining crew. And then in the last act of the shooting phase, the Praetor decided, why not use my useless combi plasma, and it pattered harmlessly off the front of the Sons of Horus Rhino. But it looks like they're in assault range. Let's see if they can take out that Sons of Horus vehicle. And in the last act of their third term, the Praetor and the Phalanx Warders charged into the Imperial Fist Rhino. The Praetor couldn't do anything to it with his Paragon Blade. The Phalanx Warders with power axes managed to do 1 whole point of damage, and then their Sergeant with the Thunder Hammer managed to do another 4, but the Rhino has not been destroyed. It is still there, and that is the end of Imperial Fist turn 3. They have not managed to score any more victory points this turn. The Sons of Horus are still well ahead, and we're going into what is potentially the 16th Legion's final turn. Sons of Horus movement phase turn 4, and common sense has finally prevailed on the belligerent Sons of Horus First Captain. He has exited the building and joined his Just Styrian, who are advancing. They've decided that to clear out the rest of these fists, their Bane strikes might be just as effective, and they're also rather concerned at saving their First Captain's life, which is one of their jobs after all. This Leviathan is stomping around. He's got his choice of vehicles to shoot at with his melter guns, then charge. And over here the Reavers have turned back from the ruins. They have got a Rhino in their sights. This Sons of Horus Rhino has moved around. It's got some bolters. It might as well shoot the Phalanx Warders and the Praetor, because there's nothing stopping the Sons of Horus going to slay the Warlord as well. And I think that these rapiers might well try to help out with that. I did not mention previously that these Sons of Horus Tactical Marines, they failed to rally and they have continued to retreat. So this objective is still available and it is still worth 1 point. Don't think it will be enough for the Imperial Fist, but still, I'm sure they're going to be in big trouble once they get back to the Vengeful Spirit and have to have a meeting with a rather unpleasant First Captain. Right, let's see what the Sons of Horus can do in their shooting phase. A rather poor start to the Sons of Horus first shooting phase, as this Rhino and the Rapiers and the other Rhino and even the retreating Tactical Marines all fired at the Praetor and his Phalanx Warders. They only managed to kill 1, and that was with a blast from a Rapier laser destroyer. But slightly better result here, thanks to the Sons of Horus Leviathan firing its melter guns into the rear of a Rhino and easily taking all 6 of its hull points. It is now preparing a charge on the Land Raider. And finally, the Just Styrian did open fire on the Imperial Fist with autocannons with their multi-melter. It's the galaxy's most accurate multi-melter, because once again it hit and melted a Marine, and then they managed to kill 3 more with their Bane Strike combi bolters. But the Imperial Fist would not go down without a fight. They did a ferocious return fire. With 15 shots, they managed to take out 2 Just Styrians. So not all doom and gloom for the Fists. Let's see what happens in the Sons of Horus 4th assault phase. End of Sons of Horus assault phase turn 4, and unsurprisingly the Reavers all piled into the back of this Rhino, easily wrecking it with all their power fist attacks. But disappointment for the Sons of Horus Leviathan. It advanced upon the Imperial Fist Land Raider and fired its melter guns. Got 2 hits, but a double 5 was a very disappointing result. And then when it charged in, it only managed to get 2 hits with its claws as well. And with the roll of a double 2, it did no damage at all. That has been an extremely resilient Land Raider. That is the end of Sons of Horus turn 4. Once again, unfortunately for them, they did not manage to score any objectives, but at least, right at the end, those 3 fleeing Tactical Marines over there have rallied. So, they have a good lead in terms of points, but the Imperial Fists have one last chance. Let's see what they can do as we go into their final turn. And at the end of the Imperial Fist 4th movement phase, the Fists have realised that in terms of victory points, there is not much they can do. Even with the Herald leading the Huskarls to finally claim that objective and score another victory point, that only puts them on 6, plus that one is 7. And of course the Herald can get another 2 as well if he survives. They can also get last man standing, but that is looking very unlikely. That would be another 4, and they can also get Slay the Warlord for Abbadon, which would be another 2. Even so, if they get all of that, it only brings them to 15, to the Sons of Horus 18. But what they're going to do anyway is they're going to have one last shooting phase. They've got 2 Land Raiders here that have spun around, and they've got one last Imperial Fist with an autocannon. They're going to try to kill Abbadon, and why not? Both of the Imperial Fist Land Raiders had to move in order to draw line of sight to Abbadon and his Justirian, so their las cannons were only damage 1, and their combined fire, along with their heavy bolters, only managed to take out 1 of the black-clad Sons of Horus. The last Imperial Fist with an autocannon, he managed 2 hits and 2 wounds, and they were both precision, thanks to the Librarian as well, but unfortunately they weren't breaching. They both pinged harmlessly from the First Captain's mighty Cataphracti armour. So that is that. It is a Sons of Horus victory. It has been a great game. It has been total carnage, which is always the hallmark of a great game. We're just going to relax a minute in the aftermath. Sons of Horus are going to celebrate for a few seconds, and then we're going to give some of our thoughts on the game itself. So the dust has settled and we've had a little chance to have a chat about what went down. Any thoughts, Stephanie?
Well, it felt a lot closer than the victory point score.
Yeah, it did to me during the whole game actually. And if you look at what's left, actually, if the Imperial Fist Praetor and the Phalanx Warders charge into this Rhino and destroy it, which they could easily do, then both sides have the same number of units left, so neither scores last man standing. Any picks for your best unit?
Autocannons, definitely.
Yeah, they are really good. Actually, in fairness, they probably should have taken out Abbadon. They fired at him with 15 shots at one point and managed to roll 7 ones. So that was very unlucky. They only got 8 hits. If they'd have got a statistical amount of hits, I think the First Captain would probably have gone down. Any other units you thought were pretty good?
The Herald and the Hussars.
Yeah, no, agree there again. They are very, very tough. They absolutely smashed the Sons of Horus Terminators, and the Herald did an amazing job. I didn't think he would, but he easily killed the Sons of Horus Legion Champion. And personally, I think the Sons of Horus units that did pretty well, they somehow managed to get a multi-melter that can't miss, which is a real rarity in 30k. I actually quite like the Leviathan as well, with the 2 claws and the 2 melter guns, making the most of his right of war, being able to move up, shoot both of them, and then do a setup move and shoot both of them again. That is pretty effective. But I think the thing that really swung the game in terms of the victory points was the first turn rush up the centre by the tactical squad. That robbed the Imperial Fists of a lot of victory points. That was a really, really big swing. So all in all, I think a really good game. Personally, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, any more thoughts?
They're good. +1 to hit is massive. Their reaction is really good, and the gambit also.
Yeah, Imperial Fists. I think they are actually one of the strongest legions. I think the Sons of Horus are pretty strong as well, to be honest, and this game could have gone either way. Well, I certainly enjoyed it, and I hope you did too.
Yeah, it was a great game, and I'll definitely be back to get my revenge.
Well, we'll have to see about that. Right, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this game. Please spare a second for a couple of cheeky little clicks on like and subscribe, and please do let me know any of your thoughts in the comments. Stephanie will be back, I will be back, so we'll see you again soon.